given us. We begin by saying Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب زدني علما. Brothers and sisters, we're here again in a very difficult time, COVID-19 time, I know. But COVID-19 hopefully will not keep us too restricted for too long. As we know, our mosque will inshallah start opening very soon. And when it does open, we will be able to pray together again, but with some restrictions still. So just want to give you a warning that the mosques will start opening. In some cases they've already opened in some areas. Our one will inshallah open very soon. I'll give you the announcement and the details later. And Ramadan is not very far away, just over a month. And inshallah we'll have Ramadan. So a lot to really get ready and prepare for. I hope and I pray you are mentally and physically getting ready for it. Today I want to talk about 3 steps to completing our Iman. There's a beautiful hadith that I read recently, and it filled my heart with great joy. And I felt a sense of relief by reading the hadith. The hadith is like this. Rasulullah said, whoever has the following 3 qualities will have completed their faith. Number 1, be fair to other people. Number 2, offer peace to the world around. And number 3, spend in charity even when you are in need. I find these 3 very beautiful statements in the Prophet. Simple, very practical, and easy to do. All you have to do is be fair, live a peaceful life, and give more in charity. It will get you closer to Allah. You will have completed your Iman and faith. Some Muslims complicate Islam and make it difficult for themselves, frightening for their children, and even more complicated and frightening for our non-Muslim friends, our neighbors, our fellow citizens in our country. Let's make Islam easy for everyone. Ultimately, Islam is a religion. It did not come to complicate life. It came to free people from all sorts of complications. It came to give people true liberation from following whims and wishes, dictatorship and despotism, from liberating themselves from the shackles of the kings and princes, and all the rest of the human-made troubles and turmoil that the entire humanity was facing. It came to say we individually are free. Every one of us are free, born free, with dignity and respect, worthy of equal honor. No one should have the right to take it away. That is a simple message, and a message of profound change. Change from what the society was used to. The message of Islam is simple because it invites you to clarity, to a clear vision and a mission in life, with objectives, with goals. It's not that difficult to follow them. So Rasulullah has made it very easy by giving us 3 simple examples of what 3 things we can do to fulfill our faith. Number 1, be just and fair to the people around you. What does it mean? Justice means, fairness means I should treat others like I would like to be treated myself. How do I like to be treated? I like to be treated with respect. I'd like to be treated with kindness, with honor, with dignity. I'd like to be treated mildly. I'd like people to be moderate. I'd like people to be compassionate. I like people to give me the benefit of the doubt when I make mistakes. I'd like people to demonstrate compassion towards me, mercy towards me. When I am down, I'd like people to pick me up, not kick me further down. I'd like to be treated like a human being, equal to everybody else. I'd like to be given the same opportunities like everybody else is enjoying. I'd like to live freely without anyone taking my freedom away. That's what Rasulullah said. If you treat one another fairly, you have completed your faith. SubhanAllah, what a beautiful way, simple way, and yet profound way to deal with life. Unfairness is at the root of many of the troubles that we see around the world. Unfairness and injustice, and we all know that. I don't need to tell you this. Take the examples of what's happening today in the world. A very small band of people are the most rich in the world. Less than 5% of world's population, in fact less than 1% of world's population are wealthy, and they own more than 70% of world's wealth. It's very unfair. Islam proposes a fairer distribution of wealth. Few people should not be hoarding all the wealth of the world. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, in the Gulf countries alone, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, all of these countries in the Gulf, their surplus money that they have, if they were to buy COVID-19 vaccination with their money that they have, the profit that they've made from oil sale, gas revenue, and etc., they would be able to give COVID vaccine to every single human being on this earth free of charge. Do you know, if the Gulf countries alone paid their zakat adequately and dispersed the zakat money to the places of poverty and inequality, there would be no one dying in this world of hunger. And yet there is profound unfairness in the way we see the world operating itself, the way we are dealing with one another. No wonder our beloved Prophet of Allah ﷺ made being fair and just one of the most profound ways of completing our faith. You don't have to go very far to see the unfairness around us. In COVID-19 time, in our country, in the UK, there are many people who are dying of hunger. There are many people who are starving. They have no way of feeding their families, their children. They're choosing between fuel and food because they're poor. And yet we have some of the richest people living on this earth, in this country. You know where I am at the moment in North London? Probably not even a stone's throw from here. There is a road called the Billionaires Road, the Bishop's Avenue. To live in Bishop's Avenue, you have to be more than a billionaire. 80% of houses in Bishop's Avenue are empty. Somebody rich from somewhere in the world decided to buy a massive property with all the illegal cash that they have accumulated, the money that they've stolen from the coffers of their country and their people. What they are doing is they're buying houses in our country. Very unfair. Very unfair. The rich are getting richer. 2 days ago, our Chancellor delivered a budget speech in which he said he wants to free our country's young people from being generation of renters to generation of householders. Immediately, rich people phoned into various radio stations that I listened to. Some of them said, well, forget it, young people, forget it. If you're poor, you can't do it. We as the property owners have already snapped up most of the properties from the market. This guy said, I went into an area, I saw 3 houses that are being developed, I bought them all cash. Anyone who's a first-time buyer has no chance. Rich are getting richer, poor are getting poorer. That's the unfairness in our society today. And Prophet ﷺ said, we must do everything possible to be fair to others around us and to establish a fairer society. Fairer society means everyone has access to basic amenities regardless of their status. Everyone has access to, like our NHS actually, everyone should have access to wealth as well as the basic amenities that we all deserve. But the governments of this world are not interested in that. They're only interested in making rich richer, poor poorer. Unfair. Profound unfairness in the way we see some of the nations are living. For example, in Myanmar, in Burma, in Old Burma as they call it. Today, only a few weeks ago, when the military coup happened and the elected government was put behind bars, more than 20 or 30 people have been shot dead by the military because people came out into the street saying, we don't want military rule, we want civilian rule, we want democratic rule. Unfairness at its core when the military does coup and takes over the country and shoot people and kill them. The very Myanmar government and its military junta have been responsible for making people of Rohingya homeless, stateless, driving them out of their homes in their villages. In China, Uyghur people have been suffering under the Chinese communist regime for a long time. Only recently have we come to know about their plight. That's unfairness in its profound manner. In Kashmir, Muslims have been suffering under Indian hegemony and sometimes Pakistan's unclear political agenda. Kashmiri people should be given the right to determine their own future, but they're not being given that. Unfair. We see unfairness in many parts of the world. Syrian people have died in their millions. Nobody has done enough to stop it from happening. We have seen awful plight of people in all other parts of the world, in many parts of the world. In Yemen at the moment, it's going to, I don't know what kind of a world in which we live. The cruelty, the barbarity, the brutality doesn't move our leaders. They watch millions die and they do nothing. It's called unfairness. And the more we see unfairness in the world, the more likely we will see unrest and trouble. And yet the world isn't doing enough to stop these horrible plight, horrible disasters, horrible wars from taking over because of politics, because of greed, because of some people who are more powerful than the other. Why do the Yemenis have to die? They have done nothing wrong. Yemen is become a ping-pong ball between Iran and Saudi Arabia, and the rest of the world is standing by watching. In fact, some of our government in European countries are supplying Saudi Arabia weapons to bomb the Yemenis. And Iran is supplying the Houthis weapons to bomb the Yemenis. Both of them are wrong. Those who perpetrate wrong, those who lead on the wrong, those who supply arms and ammunition and intelligence to do wrong, they're wrong. And that unfairness is what we're trying to deal with. And Rasulullah said, if you can deal with one another fairly, you've completed your faith. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, wherever you are, Islam promotes fairness for all people, no matter who you are. All people must be dealt with fairly. And if you're not dealing with one another fairly, we must understand that we will be responsible for the day of judgment and answer to Allah why we did not do enough. Environmental degradation, unfairness to the environment. Poverty, unfairness to the world. Hunger, unfairness to humanity. Oppression, unfairness to fellow human beings. Dictatorship, unfairness to other people. Economic disparity, unfairness to the world. All this blatant unfairness must be addressed immediately. And Rasulullah said, deal with it. Be fair to one another, you will have completed your faith. So Muslims, it is not just enough for you to be fair to your fellow human beings who are your neighbors, your brothers, your sisters, though you must do, but you should also think about global unfairnesses and injustices and do something about it. Number two, Rasulullah said, if you establish peace on this earth, you will have completed your faith. My religion, Islam, my religion's name, Islam, actually originates from the root words salam. Salam means peace. And brothers and sisters, Allah's name is As-Salam, the source of all peace. The garden in paradise is known as Dar as-Salam, abode of peace. My greeting every day to one another is Assalamu alaikum, may peace be upon you. My entire being is about leading and living a peaceful life, being peaceful inside and peaceful around. That's my faith, that's our religion. And yet we see today Muslims are not very peaceful people anymore. I see Muslims all across the world being very unpeaceful, whether it is in Somalia, whether it is in Yemen, whether it is in Iraq or Syria, whether it is in Kashmir, whether it is in Bangladesh or Afghanistan, whether it is in Pakistan, Saudi Arabia or UAE or any other Muslim majority country. I see very little peace at the moment in the Muslim world because Muslims have abandoned their faith of peaceful religion. They have abandoned Allah, whose name is As-Salam. They have abandoned their prospect of paradise, Dar as-Salam, that Allah has promised. They say Salamu alaikum to one another and they orchestrate war immediately because truly we have forgotten the essence of our faith. Our faith is about peace. Peace in the world, not just within myself, but in the world. Global peace. Everywhere there must be peace. We must be involved in peace initiative. We must be involved in activities that bring peace to this world. We must do everything in our capacity to restore peace and stability on this earth, ladies and gentlemen. And if we don't, then we have not fulfilled our faith. But if we do, Rasulullah said, that's another way to fulfill your faith, subhanAllah. Peace in this world requires end of war. Peace in this world requires end of occupation. Peace in this world requires restoration of justice. Peace in this world requires returning people's wealth that have been stolen, repatriating the wealth that our country, for example, Britain stole from the world during the colonial past. When European countries such as Spain, the Spanish imperialist forces, when Portuguese, when Italian, British and the Dutch went around colonizing the world, stealing and looting the world, unfairness at its worse, and of course destroying the world and taking away the prospect of peace. The United Nations was established after the Second World War, after the First and the Second World War, because we do not want to see any more war like this. And yet, right in front of our eyes, in my lifetime, I've seen more wars than many of those who have passed away before. In my lifetime, I've seen Vietnam War, I've seen Cambodian War, I've seen war in Bosnia, I've seen war in Afghanistan, I've seen war in Yemen, I've seen war in Somalia, I've seen war in Sudan, I've seen war in Kashmir, I've seen war in many parts of the world, the names of which I have forgotten, but I tell you, my brothers and sisters, I've seen more wars than I can count on my hand, and that is a disgrace for humanity. If we are truly up there to establish peace, we have failed miserably. If the United Nations was established to establish peace in this world, we have failed miserably, because we see under the watchful eyes of the United Nations wars upon wars, illegal occupations upon illegal occupations, destructions of people upon destructions of people happen regularly, and the United Nations cannot do anything, because we as humanity have failed in being true and consistent in our words. In fact, the world leaders are nothing but a bunch of hypocrites, because they say one thing and do very little. Yesterday the news was very clear. When I was watching BBC News, it says, yes, in Myanmar people are being killed by the military junta. There is a few condemnations that are happening, but very little action. The world is silent. Do you know why the world is silent? Because China doesn't like anyone to interfere in the affairs of Myanmar or about the Uyghur people. So the rest of the world will stay silent. Why? Because of economy, because of money. Money talks louder than the honor and dignity of humanity. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. Peace and stability in the world is more important than appeasing some superpower such as China, such as Russia, in their illegal and ethical activities around the world. Russia single-handedly destroyed Syria by supporting Iran and the Syrian regime. If Russia didn't, Syrian regime would have fallen a long time ago. The world stayed silent because Russia is a superpower and it can veto the United Nations and stop our activities from happening. True peace can only be established in the world when we are consistent, when we promote justice and fairness for all, when we are consistent with our words and our action, and when we are true to everything that we say, and we're not following double standards and unethical foreign policies or internal policies, when we're not pursuing material gain, power and greed. We are truly interested in humanity and its progress into peace and stability. That's when we will see peace in the world. The third and the final thing Rasul said is when you share your wealth with the poor and the needy. Give charity. My brothers and sisters, give charity. Not only give charity, Prophet ﷺ said, give charity even when you need charity most yourself. Giving charity you need, yes. You give charity because charity is valuable. Give charity because charity will increase your wealth. Charity will purify your wealth. You give charity because Allah Azza wa Jalla will bless you. You give charity because charity eats away your arrogance and your pride and your desire to hold your wealth. You give charity because you know you can't go to your grave with your money. You give charity because you know not a single human being has ever gone to their grave with all their wealth or even one penny of their wealth. We went to our grave penniless like we came on this earth penniless. Ask you a question. Think about it, brothers and sisters. A simple question. How many cars do you need? And how many cars can you ride at any one time? Only one. How many houses can you sleep in at any one time? Only one. How many beds can you sleep in at any one time? Only one. How many, my brothers and sisters, bathrooms do you need? Only one. How many swimming pools can you swim at any one time? Only one. How much food can you eat? Handful. It's always so limited, and yet we like to accumulate more and more and more and more without ever thinking about the poor and the needy in the world. Why? Why are we so greedy? Why are we so obsessed with material possession? Allah says in the Quran, إنما الحياة الدنيا لعب ولهو وزينة وتفاخر بينكم وتكاثر. This world, it is like a play, an amusement between yourselves, competing with one another with wealth and children and property, vying with one another. وما الحياة الدنيا إلا متاع الغرور. This life is nothing but a mirage, a delusion, an illusion rather. You think there is something there, it isn't, because you go and go to life. So in Islam, one way to complete our faith is to share our wealth with the poor and the needy. Those who have wealth, they find it difficult to give it away. Those who don't have wealth, in fact, give more money more often. I say this from my experience. I've seen poorest people in the world give more than the richest. Rich ones protect their money by locking it up in banks, fortifying their houses, having alarm systems, security guards, putting money in offshore accounts. They do everything possible to secure their money. Even after that, they have to take sleeping tablets to sleep because they can't sleep peacefully. And yet the poor ones, who've got little money, they spend the money, they give it away, they don't have to worry about it. The truth is, Rasul said, it is better for you to live enough, have enough, and not worry too much about money and chase money and wealth and material. Brothers and sisters, our life is all about building our hereafter, not this world. If you truly want to build your hereafter, then share your wealth. And those who need it most, and they share it with those others who need it, they will get the highest of rewards from Allah in this world and the hereafter. Money grows money, they say. That's not true. Charity grows more money than money itself. If you give in charity to the poor and the needy, you will benefit from the blessings, from their dua, and from the blessings Allah will give. The more you give for the sake of Allah, the more doors Allah opens. And those doors you could not have imagined. Where that money came from, you could have never imagined. My brothers and sisters, to finish off, I'd like to remind you that charity does not diminish your wealth. You will not go to your grave with your money, so don't hold it. Share it. Show your care and compassion for the rest of the world. Give it away in charity more than you actually need. You don't need so much to live. You don't need so much money to be happy. Most of the time you spend so much money making it that you don't even get the time to enjoy it before you know you're dead. So many people in the world have made so much money but have died very quickly and not been able to enjoy the money that they've made. What's the point of 20, 30, 40, 50 year chase and when you've got nothing to take with you, because nothing will go with you, even your clothes, your socks, your shirts, your trousers, your beloved hat, your glasses, your watches, your jewelry, and everything that you have will be taken off by your family, and everything will be left on this earth. And if you've got children on this earth, unless you've given them clear instructions, they may fight over the wealth that you leave behind. Why leave such wealth behind when it's going to be causing so much trouble? Why not invest it in the cause of Allah for the poor and the needy? So brothers and sisters, in a nutshell, for you to complete your faith, you don't need to do too much. You just need to do three things, as Rasul said. Be fair to other people, number one. Number two, spread, establish and promote peace around the world. And number three, give in charity even when you need it. May Allah protect us, give us the strength to be able to practice all that we've heard, make us those people who can complete our faith adequately and completely. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. My brothers and sisters, I want to finish my sermon today with a quick reminder to you all. We're all in great trouble and turmoil at the moment, with COVID-19 taking over, with so many people dying, so many people who have lost their jobs, their properties, their wealth, their businesses because of the restrictions and because of the economic as well as the health crisis that we see engulfing our world. This is when we need to stand together. This is when we need to stand united. This is when we need to stand next to one another and help each other. Being fair means sharing our wealth with those who need it most, treating others. Peaceful in the world means we need to restore peace and stability in this world without having to chase greed and power, without being greedy for our money and our wealth and our property, or greedy for power. This is the time when we need to stand together for our sake, for the sake of humanity. Brothers and sisters, we don't want to be animals. Dog-eat-dog culture is not what human beings are for. Dog-eat-dog is an animal culture. That's not our culture. Human culture is to share, is to care. Human culture is to stand together and united in pursuit of justice and fairness and freedom. Human culture is to share in our charity, in our good deeds. Human culture is to stand together to create peace and justice on this earth for everybody, regardless of their background. They're social, they're spiritual, they're economic, they're political, they're religious, they're ethnic, or they're civil or natural status. Doesn't matter where they come from. They're all human beings. We need to stand together, united, especially now. And with this COVID-19, we need to do something together. So vaccination is around. Please do take the vaccine. Please do take it. Don't say no to it. And don't spread misinformation. Don't spread conspiracy theories. Don't scare people off. There is no need for it. Secondly, my brothers and sisters, keep your eyes open. Mosque is going to be opening again. You can come together and pray, but you need to be careful. And Ramadan is not very far away, so we need to start preparing for it. Now Allah bless us all. I'm going to make a dua for all of us together, inshallah. And inshallah we will finish. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Akram al-Akramin, have mercy on us, Ya Allah. Ya Akram al-Akramin, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, forgive us, Ya Allah. Ya Akram al-Akramin, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, have mercy on all of us, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Akram al-Akramin, forgive us, Ya Allah. Most kind, most merciful, at a time of this great disaster that we're facing, this awful pandemic that has taken over the world. Ya Allah, forgive us. Strengthen us in our iman, in our unity, in our humanity, in our compassion, in our togetherness, Ya Allah. Enable us so that we can find the cure to this disease, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, enable us so that we can find the cure to this disease, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, unite our hearts so that we can help one another at a time of great difficulty, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Akram al-Akramin, we ask you to forgive us, Ya Allah. We ask you to forgive us, Ya Allah. We ask you to keep our children, our families, our wives, our husbands, our parents, and our loved ones protected, safe and sound, Ya Allah. We ask you to keep us all on the path, Ya Allah. ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم. اللهم اني اعوذ بك من البرص والجنون والجذام ومن سيء الاسقام. اللهم رب الناس الى الباس واشفي انت الشافي لا شفاء الا شفاء شفاء لا يغادر سقما. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الارض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الارض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. اللهم ربنا هب لنا من ازواجنا وذرياتنا قرة اعين واجعلنا للمتقين اماما. اللهم ربنا هب لنا من ازواجنا وذرياتنا قرة اعين واجعلنا للمتقين اماما. ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمه انك انت الوهاب. يا ارحم الراحمين يا اكرم الراحمين. Keep us on the path, Ya Allah. Restore peace and stability on this earth, Ya Allah. Return peace on this earth, Ya Allah. Return fairness and justice on this earth, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, open up our hearts so that we can be more charitable, we can be more helpful, we can be more beneficial to one another, Ya Allah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. Ya Allah, protect us all, Ya Allah. Protect us all, Ya Allah. Protect us all, Ya Allah. Give us cure from this cure, Ya Allah. Give us cure from this terrible disease, Ya Allah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. وقل سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. My brothers and sisters, thank you very much for being so kind and for being generous. I've got some announcements to make. First announcement, this masjid will open on Monday the 8th of March, inshallah. Please keep listening to the broadcast I'm still doing live here, reminding you that this masjid will open on the 8th of March, Monday. 8th of March, Monday, inshallah, this masjid will open. So you can come to the masjid for Jum'ah on that Friday, inshallah. Number two, I would like to remind you that Jum'ah space must be booked before you come on the lics.info's website. Number three, our masjid will be holding an outreach vaccination session on Saturday the 13th of March 2021. Time to be confirmed. Around 50 to 100 people will be given vaccination. If you really want to be vaccinated, and if you are above the age of 45, you won't be turned away. The older you are, the better it is. 50 plus, anyone who is 45 and comes will be given, but you need to book before. Please call Sister Rabi on 07956 864 499. 07956 864 499, and make sure you book with Sister Rabi if you want to come and take your vaccination. Number four, don't forget donation to this masjid. Please. This masjid has been closed since December, and this masjid is struggling with lighting the banks. Please donate £5 every Friday, because you're missing Jum'ah. At least giving some part of this masjid. May Allah accept it. Don't forget, on Sunday, I have the family study session that starts at 6 o'clock till 7 o'clock online on my Facebook and YouTube page. You can of course watch both. We learn about Islam, morals and ethics with our families. You can study from home, inshallah. Keep your eyes open for more information. Remember, Mosque is opening on the 8th. Jum'ah needs to be booked. We'll have vaccination, inshallah, on the 13th in this masjid. You need to book in advance and donate to this masjid. May Allah bless you. Allah keep you safe. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.